Hello guys, so it is spring break and this is like probably the perfect time for me to, spend some time to make a video discussing about the Race 2 update that's probably coming out on June of this year. ETA, not sure yet, but today on Wednesday they released the dev blog. So in this dev blog they discussed about the core mechanics of Race 2 and primarily they're talking about the rewards of Race 2 because yeah, one of the things that they want to make sure the community is fine with is like the new rewards. Usually mechanics and stuff is, mainly up to Jagex to create. But yeah, when it comes to items and, rewards that are coming out, they often need, community consensus and feedback. So I am going to be reviewing this dev blog, pretty much all of it, in detail with a friend that is, I would say quite experienced with PVM at this point. So me and him, aka Cold One, is gonna talk about all these new potential rewards that are coming out into the game, and discussing stuff like, is it good for the game? Is it balanced? Is it too broken? And all that stuff, and where could it be really useful and all that. All right, so Cold, you wanna introduce yourself real quick? Give us a hashtag meme introduction.
There you go.
Cracking it open.
Facts, bro.
So we're gonna basically be talking about everything involved in this dev blog, but we're gonna be mainly focusing, the core of our time to discuss the rewards that they want to pull. But anyways, Theory of Blood, it's basically Race 2, but it's quite different. And yeah, let's talk about the basics of the Race 2 mechanics. So Race 2, everything was randomly generated, but you fought, Ohm at the very end all the time. Race 2 is going to be kind of not randomly generated. Everything will be pretty much the same every time you go in, so it's going to be a linear progression. Race 2, the main thing that's different is going to be the wipeout system that they have. So Cole, you want to talk about that for us?
Yeah, so if you die in raids 2, you'll be in a party of however many people, whether it be 2 people up to 5 people. But if you're dying in a challenge room, boss room, what have you, then you sit on the sidelines and watch the rest of your team attempt to complete it. Should they be successful, you get to continue on to the next room with them, but your death is counted as a death. So if you're hardcore Iron Man, you get reverted to regular Iron Man. Now, they are going to introduce the gold sync system if you're familiar with Dragon Slayer 2's Vorkath and Torfin. This only happens should everybody die in a challenge. Should everyone die, you'll have to pay a sum of gold to get your items back.
Yeah,
now, that's only if everyone dies in a challenge, on top of the raid having to be reset.
So we got the quest. It doesn't really matter. So you do this quest. Looks like it's a really easy quest, and then once you finish it, you can engage in the new raids too. Now the core of what we want to talk about is obviously the rewards. So a bulk of the initial stuff they want to pull is just potions. Like they're gonna be like the potions that we have, except they're combination potions. You know how like super combat, you mix attacks, defense, and all that together. So they're proposing a bunch more of these hybrid potions. A lot of them, for example, the Bastion potion, they want to combine range and super defense together. So we don't really have a combination potion like that. So I suppose it could be quite useful if you're just ranging in a particular situation, but you want to save inventory and not have to bring a super defense. So yeah, we got a ton of those, like a battle mage potion. It's magic and defense combined.
That's going to be dead content because we haven't viewed Heart. I mean, it'll be good for Iron Men who don't have it yet in certain situations, but I mean, both those potions will go through. It's not forcing any power creep. I don't really think it gives any big advantages to the game, so that's fine. They can go in.
Okay.
And both their secondaries, it's not like easily farmable ones like requires Eye of Newt. Like they both require Zamorak wine or potato cactus. So it's not like we're unlocking like really easy herblore experience to be had with these new potions. It'll still require bits. There's nothing to really be abused.
But good alternative.
The totality potion looked kind of cool. I mean, you could bring that into a raid. It just combines your super combat with your range potion. That's all right, I guess.
Totality potion's probably gonna be like the new meta potion for any type of hybrid, tribrid, bossing setups.
Yeah, that'll be really slick for raids.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That one is
But now
basically it's like a prayer renewal back in pre-OC where you drink it, and it will last a certain amount of time, and during that time it would consistently raise your prayer points by a little bit.
Yeah, that's a
So
super prayer potion. Like honestly,
yeah,
with the amount that it gives you back, it's honestly just like drinking a slightly better prayer potion. Like honestly, I'd rather have super restore in 9 out of 10 instances. Like this is slightly better for Cerberus since you're not using super
yeah, it
restores
gives
there,
you a
but
better overall
it's really
prayer
it.
point, net prayer point gain per
Hmm.
dose. So if you really just, in a situation where all you really care about is trying to, keep your prayer as long as possible, then it would be something for you to consider. But yeah, it's not like too much better.
The Vigor potion, like that one seems interesting for Saradomin, especially if you can actually
Oh yeah,
kill it
because you
within a
get a
minute.
stamina effect
Yeah, you
for a
get
minute as well.
1 minute of stamina effect and like a prayer dose, which it's honestly seems all right. Like if you're actually able to consistently kill Sarah, like for you got
In
to
a
twist it.
minute,
You can kill Sarah in a minute
in
easily.
30 seconds.
Yeah,
In like
so
30
that
seconds.
potion would be the bread and butter for you. Like you
Yeah.
could definitely like even without having to flick overheads, like you see a lot of like high-end PVMers doing, where they
Yeah, I
go in
mean,
with no
Sarah's
prayer
already
potions
a
and just a
huge
bunch of
joke.
stamps. You don't have to do that
Yeah.
anymore.
Unless they make a boss where you really want to be running at all times and having prayer other than Saradomin, maybe raise 2, Like it could be the case if it's something that requires that type of, situation.
Yeah, we
Maybe
don't
it'd be
know. Maybe
really
they're
good for
releasing
raise
a
2.
boss that requires you to be running the whole time. Who
Yeah,
knows?
honestly, if they make a boss that forces you to run all the time, like we don't know what bosses are in race 2, but yeah, it could be like good for future bosses. All right, so the next thing we're gonna be talking about is the Inferno Defender. So the next best in slot defender, the successor to the Dran Defender, and here are the stats. As you can see, it's pretty much about 2 stats better than the Dran
Yeah.
Defender in every category. What was
Everything
it?
goes up or down by 2.
Up or
That's
down
the
by
only
2?
changes. Yep. Negatives are down by 2.
Oh, okay.
Positives are up by 2.
Huh, that's interesting. I mean, it's not too big of a deal. It is basically the offhand or the shield with the highest strength bonus in the game. After that, it's gonna beat the Dragon Fire Shield.
Not many people even use it anymore, honestly, because the Dragon
Yeah,
Defender's accuracy just outclasses it.
yeah. So the Inferno Defender is definitely gonna be the next best in slot shield for melee, like pretty much 99 out of 100 times. I would
Yeah, if you really
definitely.
think about it, when we upgraded from Fury to Torture, there was a difference of 5 accuracy when we did that change. This is only an accuracy change of 2.
So it's like not the biggest increase that we've seen before. So even the Senate Jeweler had a better,
Hmm.
meta increase, I guess.
Yeah, if you're using like a bunch of best in slot, it'll give a +1, so it goes from like what 51 to 52 or something.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for like whips and stuff, depending. So I would definitely camp for this bad boy if it came out, or buy it,
Same.
on a main account. Okay, so that's covered. We got Judgment Prayer Scroll. This one is really interesting, just because I think Judgment Prayer Scroll is probably designed more for people that want to PK.
I wouldn't even say it's like geared towards just PKing, like even PVMing. You just
Yeah,
turn it
yo,
on.
yo, I just got a Kraken Tentacle, dude.
Nice,
Nice,
bro.
nice, nice. I think it's catered primarily towards PKing, but PKing is definitely interesting because like if you want to maximize your special attack switch, having Judgment on, you can stack that with Piety for like 35% attack increase. And is
Yeah.
it just attack increase or strength?
No, it's just attack increase. They might
Okay.
add strength if they feel like it's too weak
Yeah,
when they
so like
test
if
it.
somebody's trying to switch into like an AGS or Gmaul, spec switch, if they can flick on Judgment on top of their Piety, they can get that 10% extra accuracy stacked on. So that could, really reward PKers.
This can be used in PVM in many situations for pretty much any spec in the game. You want
Yeah,
to make sure
dude.
your Dragon Warhammer special lands,
Judgment
pop up
Prayer,
Judgment.
dude, is gonna be crazy, crazy
Yeah,
for the
want to make
Dragon
sure you
Warhammer
get the best
spec.
bang for your buck for your SGS spec. Just pop on Judgment. You'll still get prayer back because the amount you get back from SGS is more than what Judgment's going to take away.
Probably one of the biggest trade-offs for a spec weapon to use for PVM is definitely gonna be the Warhammer, because like
Yeah, that's
if you're
going to be
doing God
huge.
Wars, dude, like right as the boss is spawning, you basically can pop off a 35% accuracy, with the Piety and Judgment to start off the kill. Dude, your chance of landing is so much better with that Warhammer, so it's gonna be worth it. And plus, you can't use overheads though, but because you're starting off, with the first set with Judgment, like basically the boss isn't even gonna be able to damage you for that first part. So you can just, quickly use Judgment spec and then go back to your overhead and you're good to go. So it's
Yeah, or
really
just
good.
walk under him.
Yeah. And I mean, God Wars is a good example, but you can basically use this thing anywhere. Anywhere you're gonna be like Dragon Warhammer specking. Oh man, you're gonna love this, um, yeah, prayer. But honestly though, I feel like it's a bit too strong because
I
for
honestly don't feel like
experience.
it's going to be that strong for creep.
Yeah,
I
I don't
really
know. It's
don't.
just like Dragon Warhammers are already so good, and like the Judgment's already gonna make it definitely even better. It's a 10% additional increase in accuracy, which is a pretty big deal. But yeah, it's like not the craziest power creep that I can like. It's hard to tell, how big of a power creep this prayer it really is, but it's definitely gonna make Dragon Warhammer specs, mainly like just so much more better. Damn. Yeah, I can. I mean, I use Dragon Warhammer specs pretty much like almost every boss. So like, if I use it for raids, oh my god, Judgment Dragon Warhammer spec at Tecton, dude, at Ulm, like at Vanguards, holy
Yeah, it'll
shit,
make your
dude.
raids much more consistent. It'll just like relieve a
Yeah,
lot of
dude.
stress for like, let's say you have those days where the meat tenderizer it's just been worn, it's flat, it's not doing anything. This one just it'll just remove a lot more of those
Yeah, bro.
cases.
Like I'm gonna be landing my Warhammer specs on Tecton like way more often. Well, a good amount, a noticeable amount more. And yeah, Ulm too, man. Those, Dragon Warhammer is so useful for raids. So having the Judgment 10% accuracy is gonna be insane. Like I don't even really care
I wish they
how.
had that on the tournament worlds. I'd love to have tested out the Judgment Prayer, but they don't have it set up there yet.
Oh, they don't have
Feels-
it there. Oh, okay.
No, that's not set up yet,
Yeah, because
unfortunately.
like
Neither are the new potions.
that's a prayer that they should really put out on test worlds because honestly, until we see it for ourselves, like we can't really. I can't really say how strong or how really good it will be, but
Yeah.
yeah, it feels like it's gonna be a significant increase, like in terms of power creep for me for sure. Like it's definitely gonna make a lot of bossing significantly easier. Okay, so next thing is the Sanguinity staff
The
and
Gwen Stefani stuff.
the Gwen Stefani staff. Yo, this thing is essentially just a trident, toxic trident that it's a bit more expensive to use, and has a 1 in 8 chance to heal half of whatever you hit. How much
Yeah, on
bonuses
average, you're
and
going to
stuff.
be getting back a total of 10 HP every 19 seconds. So that equals out to about, like, say 32 HP every minute. So that's just the averages.
Yeah, yeah. Like I averaged it out. Like it's like one hit
Hmm.
is like 2 HP on average. Yeah, so it's not like Gutton's. It's not even as reliable healing as like that of Gutton's, but you are still able to do top notch DPS with the
Hmm.
Sanguinity staff.
Yeah, this is really just like to be used for Kraken, honestly. Like you just can stay in the instance forever and ever and ever. Yeah, that's enough for that one. It's just going to be an overglorified toxic trident. The good thing is you don't though if you're an Iron Man and you hate doing Zulra every week to upkeep your trident and other stuff, you don't have to use
Yeah,
scales for
for
this.
Iron
Just
Man,
blood
it's
runes.
like a better balancing act because you don't have to camp as much scales. Because if you're like me that AFKs A a lot, you'll get a lot of blood runes. So you can
Yeah,
use it
it's a
instead.
fairly decent trade-off. Yeah, now we got to go to the main weapon.
The Twisted Bow of Raise 2, essentially.
I wouldn't say twisted bow. It's probably going to be priced like a twisted bow, but it's not going to be anywhere
Yeah, yeah,
near as
no,
good as
it's
a
not
twisted bow.
anywhere as broken. Not even
No.
close, bro. Because this is literally an Abyssal Tentacle for stab with slight other perks. That's like the gist of it. Its attacks, speed, its bonuses is basically identical to that of a tentacle, except you don't need to repair it at all. So it's undegradable, which is nice. It also has that strength, aggressive style, so you will probably on average be able to hit like a solid 1 damage more than the tentacle, just because tentacle has the shared only instead of aggressive, and yeah, you don't get that much strength bonus off of control versus aggressive. So yeah, so the rapier will be slightly like just a little bit more DPS probably than the tentacle, along with it not being degradable. So that's
I
I
remember
mean
they did put emphasis on how rare this drop is going to be, so it's probably going to be like the twisted bow, where it's on average 1 in 1,000 raids. One of them will
where
come
did it
out.
say that?
They said it in the Q&A. They're like emphasizing this is going to be extremely rare from
Oh,
raids.
okay. Okay, man, that's cool though. I mean, I would love to get my hands on this because, like, with this rapier, it would make. I mean, it would just basically replace tentacle for me for almost everywhere.
Oh
Just
yeah, same.
because, yeah, I can use that at Fossa crystals, and I can just use that at Om itself. So that's gonna be really awesome to have, and I mean, it's also gonna destroy pretty much every dragon, every like legit dragon.
Yeah,
Chromatic
Zamorak Spear
Dragons.
is going to see a drop in price
That's
because
right.
of this, but it's not by much because you still need Zamorakian Spear to do Corp. Yeah,
It's
and you got to
because
remember too, there's going to be a huge price tag on it, so it's
yeah,
not like,
yeah,
everyone's going
dude.
to have a Rapier and then
This
no one's going to use Asa. The
Garasi
Asa's
rate.
still going to be good for raids too because you get the Crush option and Stab option for both your Vasa, your Tecton. I think the weapons and balance people are saying, oh no, it's going to be too weak. Like, no, it's not.
Some people want it to be like the best in slot overall, but I feel like with the Defender coming out, the Inferno one, it's already a power creep. With the Defender,
Yeah.
universally speaking. Yeah, I'm completely fine with the way this rapier is stats wise. So good enough that I would definitely spend a good amount of time to camp for it or buy it with
Yeah,
my
same here.
purchase. So this rapier is gonna be awesome. I
Hmm.
like it already. Oh baby, this year armor that we're gonna talk about next is probably like the cream of the crop.
It does quite a lot for you. Like, I did some testing with it down at Zamorak God Wars Dungeon, and honestly, like, if you can, like, prayer flick, like, not every single tick, but effectively enough, you can stay in there forever if your stats are high enough. Like, you can literally just stay in Zamorak God Wars with this and an Elijah Spirit Shield. You can just stay in that room for as long as you want.
Yeah,
Because you'll be
I've
getting super
also
restore drops, you'll be getting food drops
yeah
as well.
yeah
You just take no damage.
this armor basic stats wise is slightly better than that of Torag's. So it's like Torag's armor slightly buffed, and it's not degradable by the way. And not only that, it has this special damage soaking ability, and it's kind of confusing to explain, but
You need to equip all three pieces in order to get the effect. That's
yeah.
another additional thing. It's not like one piece gives you five, another gives you five. No, you
Yeah,
need all three
you
on.
need all.
So,
I'm just gonna read it verbatim. When the full set
mhm.
of Justiciar armor is equipped, all incoming damage is reduced by X over 3,000, where X is your equipment defense bonus. This is based on the style of attack being used against you. For example, if an enemy was using a crush style and you had a defensive bonus of 450, crush then 450 divided by 3,000 equals 15% damage reduction. But essentially, though, with this armor on, I would say your overall melee defenses are gonna be like flying towards 400s. So I think on average, regardless if it's like a monster hitting you with stab, slash, or crush, with this armor set, you're probably gonna be soaking anywhere from 10 to like 15%, of any of those styles overall. So yeah, that's another way to put it. Like if you just have like Elysian, and no, it doesn't even matter if you have Elysian. If you have like a good tank shield like a DFS, and you put your full Justiciar armor on, any melee attacks is probably gonna be reduced by like 10%. Any range attack is probably gonna be reduced like 10 to 15%.
if you've got the Elijah and everything best in slot for defense, you're going to be, we'll just put it into simple terms. Say your max HP, 99.
Yeah.
You have all the best tanks gear on. Elijah Spirit Shield, all your Justicar, your Fury, your Guardian Boots, any cape really, Infernal Cape, Fire Cape.
Yeah.
You're going to have the equivalent of 150 hit points with all of this tank gear on, but you need the Elijah and the Justicar to do it. If you've got just Justicar on, it'll be about 123 HP equivalent.
One weakness though is that obviously it's melee armor, so it's not gonna soak magic for shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're not gonna soak any magic. I mean, it already comes with negative magic, defense as well. But yeah, you're not. If you're gonna, fight something that's gonna use magic mainly. I mean, unless you're protected from rage or something. I think it probably can be used for rage too, because I remember, during RuneFest, when they first pitched the rage 2, they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna have this room where you tank like crazy. So sounds like this armor might be something that's gonna be really useful for at Race 2 itself.
Yeah, this also explains why the Elysian and the Din's Bulwark are going up in price like crazy. It's going to have some niche uses. It's not going to be the best everywhere, but it's going to have some good purpose. I don't think it's really going to curb things out of control, except for like maybe Zamorak. It might have to be tuned down a little bit by how much bonuses you get out of it, but honestly, I don't think it's really going to shift too much because the issue right now is DPS. It's not tanking.
Next is Vampirium braces.
Now this is a controversial one. So there's two things that I want to go over with this item. It's going to have 2 range accuracy more than your Barrow's gloves, and it's going to include 2 range strength, which is the same value that you got from your Ava's Assembler. Now, the only downside is you don't get any attack bonuses for your melee, you get negative attack bonuses for magic, and slightly reduced defenses across the board. So you're only using this if you're just using range primary. This is by no means a hybrid equipment slot. Now, the issue with using this on Ranger's gloves, as you can imagine, elite clues are not that popular. There's probably not that many of these in the game in contrast to, let's say, even Pegasians and Rangers combined. So you can imagine why that thing spiked in price quite a bit. So combining it with Ranger's gloves, I'm like 50-50 with this thing, honestly. I don't think it should be combined with Ranger's gloves. If anything, just have it as a reward on its own.
This braces probably doesn't even need to come out at the moment because we already have kind of broken this game with a blowpipe and twisted bows, so I don't really think we need it. But it's like it's not so crazy that I would say if it comes out, it's whatever. I don't really mind. Yeah,
Most of the reason why I'm kind of against it too is because Range has already gotten plenty of love as it is. Alright, should we move on to the gimmick reward now?
yeah, the scythe of Vitor. Oh man, this thing looks so good. Like when I was reading, I was like, "Yo, this looks so good." I was like, "Man, this is some like twisted bow shit," but it's not.
Then you realize it's just a gimmicky whip that you can't equip a Dragon Defender with. This
Yeah.
item, if it comes out as it is not going to be that valuable. For any of you familiar with how the Crystal Halberd works, so your Dragon Halberd, the special attacks of those, if the monster you're attacking is bigger than one square, like is larger than your character, then it will deal 2 damage splats. This one kind of checks to that, but it also looks if there are more units, like more than one enemy. So imagine your character looking forward, and there's 3 squares in front of you, 1 directly forward, and then 2 to the diagonals in front of you. Whatever you're attacking, it picks 3 units off those 3 spaces and hits all of them. Or if it's 1 unit that's in front of you and covers those 3 spaces, it'll do 3 hits on that. But the way the damage is distributed, it does 100% of the damage, which we're going to call an Abyssal Whip's damage, because that's what it's equal to. The second hit does 50% of that damage, and then the third hit does 25% of the first hit's damage. And with its attack rate, it's literally the same exact DPS as a whip without a Dragon Defender. Now, as far as finding any places where this would be advantageous, I really can't think of any. Because you're only matching DPS with the Abyssal Whip, you're not exceeding it. As far as single target damage, it's actually worse just because you're not splashing it on anything.
Yeah.
So,
So
I
some
honestly think
people-
it's just going to be a gimmick.
Yeah, so some people thought that this weapon being able to attack 3 times would be like, whoa, 3 full hits at once? No. The second hit is 50% of what you originally hit, and then the third hit is 25% of what you originally hit. So actually, you're only on average hitting 175%, not like 300%. Because the scythe attacks every 4.2 seconds. If you were to split up the average damage based on its strength bonus, you would do about 10 damage per second on a large mob, that's bigger than 1x1. And that's the same as a whip, to be honest. I think it might even be 9 damage a second because I was rounding up numbers. If it rounds down, it'd be 9 damage a second. Yeah, regular whip with Defender is actually about 10 damage per second. So yeah, the whip, even the regular whip is better than this scythe. And not only that, is you also get Defender's defense bonus as well. So this scythe doesn't even have the like 20 whatever defense it has, and it also hits on average less damage than the whip. Alright, so what I was gonna say is clearly this scythe was designed to be some sort of melee mobbing weapon. Melee didn't really have a reliable mobbing weapon because like we had Dragon 2H, but it required specs, so you couldn't just like spam it. So like this scythe could technically spam mob every 4 seconds, but the problem is that even if you were to separate the 3 attacks into different mobs, you're still getting this 50% damage to second hit, and then 25% damage to third hit. It would be really good if they changed it so that if you're fighting multiple creatures and you're cleaving them all with the scythe, right? So you would get 100% for each hit. Then it would be definitely better than the whip.
Then it'd be like a bit overpowered.
Yeah, I don't know. See, that's the thing. It's like because it's not too reliable. Like, I'm not sure if there are really mobbing situations where it would be really
Here's the best example I can give. If you have 100% for all 3 hits, imagine like a 7-man mass raid. All 7 of these people have scythes. Time to do the melee hand. Just died in 2 seconds.
No, I mean no, I'm not saying for a large mob. I'm saying for multiple mobs. If you're fighting a singular creature, it's still gonna do 175. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Okay, I get
Because
the idea. I like
that
that.
might be able to make this, scythe niche really actually, viable. Because otherwise, if it's penalized, to 50% second hit, 25% third hit, every situation, regardless if it's a one monster you're fighting or like, multiple monsters you're fighting, then yeah, this scythe at the moment, based on its current strength bonus and stuff, it's pretty dead content.
Yeah.
So
And if you do with that, like 100% for each hit, if it's hitting different things, it could be a
yeah.
good melee alternative for like, let's say, Dust Devil tasks.
Yeah, you can only get a collective overall better DPS if it's like on multiple NPCs, and it has to fulfill that requirement. So it's like a really gimmicky weapon. I mean, it already is a very gimmicky weapon, except this gimmick doesn't work the way it is right now. So and it's slower than the barrage too. So keep that in mind.
Yeah.
I can spam barrage 5 and hit 40s, and this scythe basically can hit 40s too, but it's slower, and I can only mob 3 at a time. So yeah, it's like damn. Even if you change it to the way I propose, it's still like most people would be like, okay, I'm still gonna stick to barrage. Even bursting is still better. So it's like damn.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, not many people are gonna be using it. So
Yeah.
either they change it to my suggestion, or they make its strength bonus higher or more accurate.
If they made it like, I
So-
guess, close to that of a Maul, it would be good, but then it would be too strong.
If it's like tentacle whip power, it might be okay.
Maybe.
Yeah, like or somewhere between that of a whip, tentacle whip, and a maul. Like not to a maul, but like in the middle. And then it would
Yeah.
be better than a whip, but only in situations where it's a big mob, like a big creature or multiple mobs.
Yeah, this is where the members of the QA got to get their heads together
Yeah,
and
'cause
start testing out
this
like
is one of the trickiest
DPS.
weapons to balance. Cause yeah, this is so easy to like screw up. Like you can accidentally make this weapon way too broken, without even realizing it. Cause it's actually really hard to balance. Cause of all this weird. It's like a fucking Yu-Gi-Oh card, dude, with like multiple effects.
It's like trying to balance Heavy Storm or Harpy's Feather Duster.
Yeah, dude. Good luck, man. This one's one tricky ass pony, but hey, if they do a good job balancing it, it can be a really good weapon. So I'll consider that.
Yeah, it's not going to be released for another couple months, so they got time to balance this, but
Yeah.
I feel like the item does have potential.
Currently, with what Race 2 has rewards, I would be down to do it if it came out. Overall, it's fairly good, fairly balanced. Rewards, they definitely understand that power creep and stuff is huge.
Yeah, they've even said in their stream, like, they're worried about what the player base is worried about. Like,
Yeah.
they don't want power creep to happen as much as we don't want it to happen.
Yeah,
So they're taking everything with a grain of salt as far as what they suggest, what they allow into the game. So I appreciate that. And I do see that they are making weapons that are very underwhelming as rewards for raids too.
yeah, they could tweak it a little bit more. Like I said, we
Yeah.
can make it a little better. But it's fine. I like it.
It was good, very well presented.
Yeah.
Given that, and the ideas are pretty nice as well, considering this is just the first draft of ideas.
Yeah. So good job to Jagus on this one. I'm quite satisfied. Yeah.
Yeah, they get a thumbs up from me. I'll put the thumbs up when I log out tonight.
Yeah. Same. When I log out, make sure you put the thumbs up, boys. This video.
Yeah, that too. Can we get 5,000 likes?
5,000 likes.
Yeah, why the hell not, bro?
He's
Yeah,
the
if Frank
face.
can get 20,000 dislikes, then we can get 5K likes. That's what I was saying.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, it's not that much, relatively speaking. Forehead.
Actually, I thought it was more.
Shit.
Yeah, I got my
Alright,
ideas out.
so-
Hopefully the community agrees with like most of what we're saying
Yeah. Yeah.
about these items.
So that's going to wrap up our discussion for the dev blog for Raids 2. And I won't be doing these videos too much unless it's like, really important topic like Raids 2 or something that'll definitely pertain to the future of the content for my videos. Because as you know, I've been doing original raids for over a year now, and I can't wait to finish this. Because then I really want to, invest my time in Raids 2 as well and get those new items. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty good stuff in the future, upcoming June. So, alright, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys soon with another video in a few days. Take care and bye bye.